Good evening, and welcome to another Malkat Gin Review. And tonight we are reviewing MGC, the Melbourne Gin Company's dry gin. So, started by a winemaker by the name of Andrew Marks, who had pursued the winemaking arts for years and decided to have a go at gin making. Now, didn't know how to go about it, so he took a winemaker's approach. And he started by distilling each of the 11 botanicals individually. So went through 11 distillations and ended up with 11 lots of spirits, each with a single botanical in it. And then, as he would by making with his winemaking, he blended them till he developed a flavour that he liked. And that's how he started out for about 5 years. And then after that, decided to take it to the next step and proceeded to go to a single shot distilling method. And took another year of perfecting that. So now it's done in one go, but it's taken a lot of development. The other interesting thing is doesn't use a traditional still. Well, when I say traditional, a traditional gin maker still. Uses a perfume still. And the way he describes it is having this all the botanicals in this, what he calls chamber of secrets. Maybe he thinks he's Harry Potter. And it's in the heart of the still, which is then surrounded by a water jacket. And the water jacket's heated so that it then produces a constant heat for the botanicals in the middle. And I believe it ensures a more delicate extraction and intenser flavours. I have to do some research on that. I'm not familiar with perfume stills. But yeah, so he describes it as a London style gin with a Melbourne twist.
So this gin is 42% ABV. So it's pretty standard up there, I think now, about 42%.
Yeah.
It has juniper, and the earthier tones come from its orris root and angelica root. And it's also described as having more native botanicals such as sandalwood, leather honey, some macadamia nut, which is really funny because I always think of macadamia nut as being Hawaii, but then lots of people come back from work trips lately with chocolate macadamia nut.
So, interesting fact. 2 things that Hawaii has imported from Australia and are considered very Hawaiian, but actually Australian, white sand and macadamia nuts.
Well, in Wellington we import our sand from Golden Bay, so...
Yeah. So without Australia, Hawaiian beaches would probably look more like New Zealand beaches, black sand beaches. And macadamia nuts are Australian as well. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's right, but you can say that again without the pause.
It also contains honey myrtle, which means if it has leatherwood honey and honey myrtle, is it quite honey?
Well, honey myrtle will be a type of myrtle, whatever that tastes like.
Anyway, let's try and see.
Let's see.
The funny we didn't mention any citrus and
no, and I'm not getting any citrus on the nose.
But there's bound to be some in there, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, maybe.
And it's chamber of secrets.
It's not a massively strong juniper smell. Quite herbal and interesting.
Thanks, Mr. Spock.
Quite a sharp flavour to it. 42%. It's got a little bit of alcohol burn, a little bit peppery, tangy, I would describe it.
You're right. It's not quite as smooth as the last one, which was the Patient Wolf, but smoother than the Lorraine.
Interesting flavour. Quite complex. Well balanced, I think.
Got a bit of spice in there.
Yeah, quite spicy. But definitely not a strong juniper flavour to it. So it's going to be interesting to see what it's like as a G&T. Cheers.
Oh, that pulls it back quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, interesting. I think sort of woody flavours coming through, and maybe that's the sandalwood.
Yeah, and those, I mean, maybe they're a little bit stronger on the orris and angelica roots.
Yeah.
That, you know, maybe that's the earthiness, and then you have leatherwood to add to that.
Yeah.
So I think of leather as being kind of earthy.
Yeah. Look, it's woody, nutty flavour, a little bit earthy. It's not what I would describe as a juniper forward gin. It's quite subtle on the juniper flavour, actually. So, you know, carrying on the Melbourne theme, it's another savoury gin. Certainly drinkable.
Did these guys say that they were doing it as a London dry? Or it's just a dry?
Described it as a London dry with a Melbourne twist.
We had to thank Ross.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Our nephew. Yeah.
Ross and George together. Ross. I can't remember. Anyway, the lovely Andersons.
Yes. Look, I think if I was ranking my Melbourne gins that we've tried so far, I would put the Four Pillars and the Patient Wolf kind of
on par.
And this one just a little bit below. I don't think it's quite as good. And
yeah.
Not bad. Look, you know, certainly happy to
drink it.
To drink it, yeah. Very drinkable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Lorraine going down.
We won't talk about the Lorraine.
Yeah. And then we have, what did I say the other one was called? Bitter, or I can't remember. Blossom?
Yeah. It's another Victoria gin. And of course we have previously tried the Applewood from South Australia, which was also very good.
And then once we've done that, we'll be back onto our
New Zealand gins.
New Zealand gins.
New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Gin is a winner.